It's the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. Brought to you by Irving Oil and its dealers across Atlantic Canada. Good afternoon, I'm Doug Basin from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. Welcome to the Canadian Atlantic Bantam Championship, the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. It's going to be a great game for you this afternoon as the host province, Newfoundland, has made the final against a very tough New Brunswick team from Fredericton. New Brunswick has won the last two Irving Oil Challenge Cups, but this year it just could be different. And of course, right now we are in the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena. Joe Byrne, a man who spent a large part of his life serving hockey players throughout Newfoundland and all of Canada as a member of the CAHA. He was involved and instrumental in the very first 1972 Super Series when Team Canada beat the Russians on a goal by Paul Henderson. Well, the next Paul Henderson could be playing in front of your eyes this afternoon. Right now, let's get you acquainted with today's play-by-play man, Chris Green, and a man who needs no introduction, Daryl Sittler.
Thanks very much, Doug, and yes, indeed, a warm, hearty Newfoundland welcome to Hall of Famer and probably the greatest Toronto Maple Leaf of them all, Daryl Sittler. Daryl, you're a hockey parent as well, and no doubt these kids are feeling the emotion, and the parents are sky high right now.
Well, it's exciting. This is probably the biggest game of these kids' lives, and obviously they want to win it. They're probably very nervous. We see the stands. The parents are all here. As a parent playing, I enjoy watching my kids play just as much as I enjoyed playing myself, and it's very nerve-wracking. It's more nerve-wracking sitting in the stands watching them than it is being out there.
Let's get to the matchup this afternoon, Newfoundland and New Brunswick. We've had an opportunity to see both these teams in action. They're very good.
Well, they're very well-balanced teams, and that's important going into a one-game final. Both have three solid lines. Both have good goaltending. And anything can happen. You know, when you get into a one-game final, goaltending is so important, and both have good goaltenders.
And one thing about the Newfoundland team we found out is they're going to do something a little bit different with their goaltending.
Well, they're going to split their goaltending. We talked to the coach earlier before the game, and they went with the philosophy that they've been splitting the games all year. They're going to start one goalie at the beginning, the first period, and let the guy play the next two periods. And I think that's what minor hockey's all about, giving everybody a fair shake.
Let's take a look at the standings to see how both teams got here to this championship game. And the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena, no doubt a hotbed of activity over the past 3 days. New Brunswick leading the pack, 3 wins and a loss. Newfoundland finished in second place. They're the St. John's Capitals, 2-1-1. Nova Scotia finishing in third. PEI fourth, and Exploits Valley, the host team, rounding out the table. New Brunswick has played Newfoundland, and New Brunswick 6-3 winners in the round-robin action. We'll be back right after this. Now let's go to ice level for this afternoon's opening ceremonies.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We would like to welcome you to this, the championship game of the 1994 Irving Oil Challenge Cup Atlantic Bantam Championship. Sponsored exclusively by Irving Oil. Our appreciation goes out especially to Irving Oil for their generous support, interest, and continued sponsorship, which makes the Atlantic Canada Bantam Championship possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce you at this time to the two teams that will participate in today's championship game. Representing the New Brunswick Amateur Hockey Association, the Fredericton Canadians. Representing the Newfoundland Amateur Hockey Association, the St. John's Capitals. Ladies and gentlemen, to officially open the 94 Irving Oil Challenge Cup Championship game, I'd like to welcome now Mr. Arthur Irving Jr. of Irving Oil and Mr. George Fardy, President of the Newfoundland Amateur Hockey Association, representing the CAHA today. Now I'd like to call the two captains to center ice for the official opening face-off. The captain of the Fredericton Canadians, Craig Miller, and the St. John's Capitals, Scott Gibbons. Ladies and gentlemen, would you kindly stand and join us in the singing of our national anthem with Michelle Cole.
It's a big crowd here, Darryl Sittler, for this one, and the excitement in the crowd this afternoon. Wow.
There's lots of emotion. You can hear the crowd in the background. They're all excited. Obviously, Newfoundland, being the host team here, has more support, but lots of energy in the building, and that's what you want to see.
Indeed. Let's go to the starting goalies now, brought to you by Whitnauer Watches, makers of fine Swiss watches. The starting goaltender for Newfoundland, Steve Matchim.
Yeah, he's getting the first period. We talked to the coach earlier. He's going to get one period. He's had a good goals against average of 4.1. He's got good hands, and he's obviously a little nervous, but hopefully he'll get off to a good start.
And for New Brunswick will be Sean Swanwick.
Sean Swanwick's been the best goaltender in the championship here with a goals against average of 1.33. He's played in 3 games and only given up 4 goals, so he's got an impressive average coming in with lots of confidence, I'm sure.
All right, those are the starting goaltenders, and once again brought to you by Whitnauer Watches, makers of fine Swiss watches. The referee for this afternoon's game will be from Grand Falls, Windsor, Ray Saunders. The linesmen, Steve Angel from Grand Falls, Windsor, and Bruce Uliet from Gander. Newfoundland wearing the black with the gold and white trim. New Brunswick in the red with the blue and white trim. Starting at center for New Brunswick, Craig Miller. On the left wing, Mark Stiles. And on the other wing, John Burns. The defensive pairing will be Andrew Johnson and Ryan Thornton for Newfoundland. It's Scott Gibbons at center, Dale Pike on one wing, Mike Yetman on the other. The defensive matchup, Chris Reardon and Colin Stapleton. We're on the way, and the puck is in the Newfoundland zone. Chasing after it, Burns along the boards, number 3. Newfoundland trying to move it along the boards, and it is flicked into the crowd by Chris Reardon. We'll get a face-off to the left of the Newfoundland goal. There's the Newfoundland bench, Coach Mike Comerford.
He's been coaching. This is his second year in Bantam hockey, but he's been coaching for a while now. He told us he's as nervous as the kids going into this. This is the biggest game he's coached of his career.
Shot from the point by Thornton again. Goes out of play. 26 seconds. Check that now. 16 seconds gone by. And there's the Fredericton bench and Coach Harry Sterling.
Yeah, Harry Sterling's been here before. 3 out of the last 4 years, he's won the provincial championship, so he's had a very successful record.
Puck bouncing around the slot area, cleared to one side. Pike can't get it out of the zone. Reardon will try and shoot it around for Yetman on the left side. Ahead to Gibbons. Over to Pike across center ice. Hitting the right side. Stood up at the blue line. Thornton trying to get it out of the zone, but Pike ties up his man along the boards, and away goes Miller on the left side. 2-on-1. The shot just fired it wide around the boards. Can't kept in by New Brunswick. Play is called offside. This is the Irving Challenge Cup. 45 seconds gone by in this first period. No score. And from the draw, Jason Esterbrook got it back into his own zone. Whitlock for New Brunswick, trying to find his winger. Forward checking, Jeff Martin for Newfoundland. And New Brunswick is going to bring it out on the left side. Orato rink wide for Boucher. And he shoots it into the zone. Esterbrook looking for his point man. Intercepted by Brendan Parfrey. Headman pass for Martin. Crossing the blue line on the left side. He's in deep. Ridden out of the play by Michael Fleming. Puck loose in front, but New Brunswick will gobble it up. Orato coming out. Crossing the blue line. Sidesteps a man. Steers it towards goal. And Steve Matchim will smother. Play is called. Good start.
There's been some good body checks thrown. Everybody seems to be finishing their check. They're keeping their sticks down and staying out of the penalty box. And it's important to get a good couple shifts under your belt to get kind of the jitters out of the way and feel comfortable out there on the ice.
Face off to the right of the Newfoundland goal. Joseph Anderson for New Brunswick against Jim Cooper of Newfoundland. And Newfoundland will clear the zone. Andrew Johnson at his own blue line. Pass too far for his winger Calvin Murphy. Now it's Pat Barrington dumping it in on the right side around the boards, looking for his winger Croke. In for Cooper, but he's tied up along the boards. A scrum, and the referee, Ray Saunders, blows the whistle, and that'll warrant a face-off to the right of the New Brunswick goal. Should mention 3 15-minute period, stop time, and we have played 1 minute and 55 seconds, no score.
Well, there's some pretty big kids in this tournament. We got Andrew Johnson out there, number 5, who just finished his shift there. He's 6'4". He's a bantam. I mean, they're getting bigger and stronger all the time.
Jim Cooper for Newfoundland. Craig Miller for New Brunswick for the face-off, and from the draw, steered towards goal, but Miller will clear the zone. Flood backhanded to the bench. He nearly picked off the New Brunswick goaltender sitting on the bench.
Well, one player we want to watch here today is Craig Miller, number 36 for New Brunswick. He suffered a Charlie horse in his last game, the first period, and he's the leading scorer in the tournament and their captain, and it was questionable whether he could play or not, but he's been out there both shifts so far.
Barrington for Darren Croke across the blue line, steering it towards the slot area, cleared to one side by Fleming. And New Brunswick is going to bring it out. No, good play there by Cooper. Now on the second effort, they clear the zone, and Cooper will shoot it right back in. Barrington on the right side, centers it in front, but Croke couldn't get a stick on it. And away comes New Brunswick. They just clear the zone, off a stick, down the ice, and that is icing against New Brunswick. 2.5 minutes gone by, first period, no score, but a good scoring opportunity there for Newfoundland.
Well, anytime you're in a position to throw something towards the net, you want your wingers or your centermen, your other forwards going to the front of the net for a tip-in or to create something, possible scoring chance.
Shocker block full in the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium. Reminds me of the old days of the Grand Falls Cataracts in the Newfoundland Senior Hockey League. From the face-off, Newfoundland lost possession. New Brunswick trying to get it out on the left side. Tied up in front of the bench of New Brunswick, and play is called. Let's take a break. There's no score. Newfoundland and New Brunswick. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor. It'll be Scott Gibbons for Newfoundland, Jason Esterbrook for New Brunswick, and from the face-off, Johnson for New Brunswick. Ahead to Esterbrook on the left side, crossing the blue line. The shot, that's blocked. And shot out of the zone by Colin Stapleton. Johnson chasing after it. That's icing against Newfoundland. 2:54 gone by first period. Still no score. There's Andrew Johnson. Darryl?
Well, he's probably got a future ahead of him. He's big. Obviously, the pros like that type of defenseman. He's big and strong. Obviously, when he's young, he's got some filling out to do, but he's 6'4", I think 175 pounds, and he's a big kid.
From the face-off, Newfoundland with possession, and Stapleton dumping it out of the zone. Chasing after it is Johnson for New Brunswick with Pike in pursuit. Backhanding it around for Stiles. He's being forechecked by Yetman along the boards, kept in by Reardon. Now Johnson will try the other side. For Burns to Miller. Out they come, 3-on-2. Miller crossing the blue line, going in, hanging on, in front, and it goes out of play. John Burns with a glorious opportunity, Darryl.
Miller's a very smart player. He hung onto the puck. Most kids would shoot it in that position, but he sees the defenseman sliding. He has the wherewithal to hold on to it. He tries to make a pass out to Burns, and he was hooked a little bit there and couldn't get the stick on the pass. But a nice play by Craig Miller.
3:23 gone by, first period, no score. New Brunswick and Newfoundland in this championship game of the Irving Challenge Cup. Getting it to the blue line was Parfrey, but he lost possession. Back comes New Brunswick. Estabrook, the shot, save, rebound, shot, deflection, it's in front, scramble, they bang away, goes behind the net, but not out of the zone. The shot again, deflected wide. New Brunswick putting on the pressure here. Estabrook, he's banged along the boards. But Newfoundland comes up with it, but they can't clear the zone. However, Oredo does a favor for Newfoundland and got it outside his blue line. Shot back in by Whitlock. Around the boards for Boucher. Looking for Oredo behind the goal. Oredo centering it. Goes to one side. Now he passes back to the point. Fleming. Over to Whitlock. The shot. Whitlock again to Oredo. New Brunswick controlling play in the Newfoundland zone. Estabrook to Oredo. Tied up along the boards by Comerford. Estabrook once again. Having a look. Back to the point. Whitlock. The shot. Low along the ice. Off a skate to one side. And a shot out. Play is called and a penalty coming up to Newfoundland, I do believe, Darryl.
Well, New Brunswick had them hemmed in there, and it looked like they were a little tired and running around a little bit. He's got it.
Mike Comerford getting the gate.
He grabbed a hold of the guy, and the referee was right there to catch him. But Newfoundland has been leaving the points open on New Brunswick. I think they're going to have to pay a little more attention to that because the shots seem to be coming from the point area.
Mike Comerford getting the gate at 4:38. First power play opportunity of the game. And it's going to be iced by Jonathan Tracey all the way to the goaltender, Sean Swanwick. Burns for New Brunswick. Cycling in his own zone. Pass intercepted, kept in by Croke. Now Fleming to Burns. And out to center ice, but Flood will backhand it back into the New Brunswick end. Out comes Fleming at center ice to Miller. He'll have a look. Stopping in the corner. Setting up the power play to Stiles. To Miller. Back to the point. Fleming the shot. That's just wide of the mark. Puck at the end boards. Miller. Once again. Back to his point man. Fleming to Miller. In front. Steered to one side by Johnson. Croke for St. John's will shoot it down the ice.
Newfoundland very aggressive on their penalty killing. They're forcing them to make passes, forcing New Brunswick to make passes sometimes when they don't want to.
Miller crossing the blue line to Burns. Going in. Couldn't get a shot away. Check. And out comes Jim Cooper. He'll dump it into the New Brunswick end. Chasing after it is Yetman. Hustling. He bumps his man off the puck. He's got possession. Gets it to Cooper. In deep. Behind the goal. Having a look, killing time. Trying to center it, comes back to Yetman. The shot, that's wide, comes out in front, but it's gobbled up by Estabrook. And out to center ice, and St. John's will shoot it back in. Johnson into the crowd, and play is called.
Some fine penalty killing by St. John's Newfoundland, very aggressive on the forecheck, and sometimes you want that to pay attention in the other team's end and not let them out.
One of the major sponsors of this event besides Irving Oil is Tim Hortons, the supplier of coffee and donuts to the Irving Oil Challenge Cup, hospitality rooms, and Toshiba, the official supplier of photocopiers and fax machines to the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. Newfoundland dumping it in, still shorthanded. Out comes New Brunswick at center ice, but Pike gets it to Gibbons, crossing the blue line. Backhander just fired it wide. Newfoundland back at full strength. Yetman forechecking. Gibbons to Yetman, trying to center it, but it's broken up nicely by Wade Clark. Penalty coming up. Once again, I think Newfoundland is going to get the gate. High sticking. Little bit of chippiness going on. Yetman gets the gate at 7:57. There's no score in the first period. This is the Irving Challenge Cup. Darrell, another opportunity for New Brunswick on the power play.
Newfoundland has taken another penalty. A little bit of a high stick. He gets his stick over the shoulder. The referee standing right there. Mike Yetman is in the penalty box, and we're going to see another power play by New Brunswick. But in talking to his coach earlier in the game, he said he's a very aggressive, intense kid, and sometimes when you're in an intense game, you do get your stick a little high.
Mike Yetman getting the penalty. And New Brunswick at center ice, stumping it in is Aredo. Boucher chasing after it. He's bumped off the puck by Reardon. Puck in front, though, steered to one side. Again, Reardon trying to get it to Gibbons, who in turn shoots it down the ice. Swanick will stop it behind his goal for Derek Whitlock. He's being forechecked by Pike. And away comes Brendan Aredo for Esterbrook. Jason Esterbrook at center ice along the boards. Back to Whitlock. Looking for his winger Boucher, broken up at the blue line by Comerford. And shot in by Andrew Johnson. Around the boards, Pike trying to pick it up on the right side. Ahead to Gibbons. He'll bank it off the boards and out to center ice. Johnson at his own blue line. Newfoundland changing on the fly. Sidesteps one man, trying to get around another. However, he stood up at the Newfoundland blue line and away for the breakaway. Going in is Hanlon. All along the dig, and he fired it wide. Great opportunity, short-handed there for Newfoundland. Miller at center ice for New Brunswick. Ahead to Burns, crossing the blue line on the left side for Miller in the slot area. He's tied up by Comerford. Miller once again with possession. Back to Whitlock at the point. Their shot. It's in front to Burns. Save! And a big stop there by Steve Matchim.
Steve Matchim has played very, very well this first period. He's had some close-in shots like that and has been able to smother them, and he's made a great save, but good goaltending of both ends. Here's the breakaway. He's got his head up. He makes a little deke here.
Ronnie Hanlon on the breakaway.
He tries to just slide it through his legs on his backhand, but he misses the net completely. Good chance, though.
Another angle at that breakaway once again.
Here he is again. He has his head up. Did all the right moves, but put it in the net.
Got to make the goalie stop the puck, Darrell.
That's right, exactly.
Newfoundland still short-handed. We have played 8 minutes, 26 seconds. First period, no score. Face-off to the right of Steve Matchim. On the face-off, keeping it in the zone is Michael Fleming. Styles for New Brunswick to Miller. Back to the point to Fleming. Steps into it. Rebound in front. And it's cleared to the blue line by Comerford, but not out. Fleming to Johnson. Shot blocked in front. Rebound. Oh, what a save where it hit the post. I couldn't see from my angle. Burns behind the goal trying to come out in front. Miller. Back to the point, the shot. That's deflected wide by Burns. Burns on the left side in the corner. And it's dumped out by Newfoundland, who are back at full strength. In deep, Marche trying to center it. But it's broken up by Michael Fleming. Blood for Newfoundland. For Hanlon. In front for Marche. Can't get a shot. Trailing Barrington, the shot. Score!
That was a bit of a broken play, but look at Barrington. Is he happy? Look at his teammates. A big goal for Newfoundland after killing off 2 penalties. He picked that puck up on the far side, just cuts into the slot. Here's the broken play. It comes right out to him. Watch him cut into the slot on his forehand, and he just lets a nice wrist shot go. Beating Swanick. Heads up. There's the old wrist shot, and that's what you want to do. Get it on the net. He picks the corner. He beats Swanick cleanly on a very nice goal.
Pat Barrington putting Newfoundland in front 1-0. And they're pressing again. Croke behind the goal. Barrington again. In front. Stopped by Swanick. Comes back to Flood. The shot. That's off a stick. Where's the puck? Gets caught up in somebody's equipment. And number 43, Ryan Thornton, ended up in the back of his pants.
Stuck in the back of his pants. But Dave, we've had some exciting plays this first period, the first 10 minutes of hockey here. Excellent hockey.
It's exciting, no doubt about it. Jim Cooper for Newfoundland against Joseph Anderson for New Brunswick. Nearing the 10-minute mark of this first period. Barrington chasing after it for Newfoundland. For Croke, but he's going to play the man, and Anderson trying to get it out for New Brunswick. Can't do it. Croke for Barrington. He's tied up by two players. Flood from the point. The wrist shot. That's just wide through a crowd. Croke in front. Barrington in the corner. Back to Flood at the point. The shot hits the leg in front. Croke scores!
Darren Croke was Johnny on the spot. Barrington shot the puck. He got it through, and that's what you want to do. The puck came right out to Darren Croke.
Let's watch it again.
There's the shot. Defenseman just want to get it on the net, and there he is standing on side of the net. Johnny on the spot, and he has no problem putting that one away. Darren Croke.
Nice touch, nice hands there. Didn't panic at all in the situation, Darryl.
Right, it was Justin Flood who got the puck too. Very good. There. Two big goals in a short span here by Newfoundland to give them a 2-0 lead.
10:09, time of the goal, 2-0 for the St. John's Capitals. Boucher for New Brunswick steers it towards goal. And away comes Newfoundland. Pike for Yetman. Looking for Gibbons in the slot area, but Estabrook is there to go around his goal for Boucher. Ahead to Oreto on the right side. Getting around his man, centers it, but it's steered to one side by Gibbons. Pike taking his man out of the play. Newfoundland showing some muscle here, bounces in front, steered to one side by Yetman. Estabrook looking for Oreto. Can't center it, he's tied up. Estabrook being checked by Gibbons. Kept in the zone by Clark. Shot, that's high and off the end glass. Johnson shooting it in. Hops over Boucher's stick. Chasing around is Reardon. To Pike, can't get it out. New Brunswick once again diligently forechecking. Reardon will try the other side for Yetman. To Gibbons. Got it to the New Brunswick blue line. But Jason Estabrook has a look, looking for his man. Oreto too far. Goes down the ice. It's icing against New Brunswick. 3:37 left, first period. It's 2-0 Newfoundland. And this is the Irving Challenge Cup. It'll be Jeff Martin for Newfoundland against Craig Miller for this face-off deep in the New Brunswick zone. Miller winning it for New Brunswick to Fleming for Burns. Kept in the zone, bounces to center ice and out. Comerford looking for his man. But New Brunswick doing a bit of checking here at center ice, trying to press here, down 2-0. Whitlock looking for his man, broken up, shot into the New Brunswick zone. Fleming around the boards looking for Stiles. And ahead to Miller, but it was behind him. Whitlock for Miller to Burns, 2-on-1, crossing the blue line, going in to Stiles, but it hit his skate, and Newfoundland will clear the zone. Whitlock trying to shoot it in, broken up at center ice by Ronnie Hanlon for Cooper, but he's taken off the puck by Burns. Puck goes to the M boards. Fleming looking for Stiles on the right side. Can't get it out. Flood keeps it in. Trying to get into the slot area. The shot. The score! Marche! It's 3-0 Newfoundland.
Listen to that crowd. That puck comes out to Martin right in the slot area. He just takes lots of time to look, and he threads it right through the goaltender's leg. There it is. Nice low shot. And if young kids are listening at home, putting the puck on the ice, you got a little better percentage chance of scoring than you do halfway up the net or even up in the top corner. Nice shot, nice goal.
12:26, time of the goal. 3-0. Newfoundland leading. And they're getting into the New Brunswick line, but here comes New Brunswick with Soller Long shot, gloved by Matchim. He'll hang on. And play is called. 3-0, Newfoundland leading. This is the Irving Challenge Cup. Jim Cooper for Newfoundland against Joseph Anderson of New Brunswick for the face-off. Not out of the zone, kept in, shot from the point, hit the leg in front, steered to one side. Thornton keeps it in again at the right point for Soller in the corner. He stopped. And it'll be Tracey behind his goal. Passing on the left side. Croke can't get it out. New Brunswick pressing. Once again, Croke gets it to center ice. Thornton shoots it back in. Jonathan Tracey. Team forecheck play is called delayed offside. 1:55 to go in this first period. Darrell, the case here, 3-0, not indicative of the score.
Not at all. Newfoundland has been fortunate to score on their few scoring chances they've had. They probably had 5 or 6 scoring chances, scored on 3. New Brunswick, on the other hand, had 2 power plays. They had some good chances on their power plays, but couldn't put it past the goaltender. So, no, it's not indicative of the play at all, but they still got that 3-0 lead, and it's a long way to go yet.
Exactly. New Brunswick pressing here, trying to get a goal late in this first period to get some sort of momentum going. Miller was looking for Boudoir, I should say, out there for the first time. But away comes Cooper for Newfoundland. Set up at the blue line. Flood off the boards, intercepted by Miller. He's bumped along the boards. Nice scrum, battling for it. And the referee blows his whistle. Play is called face-off outside the Newfoundland blue line.
The next goal is a big goal,
yes.
Either way. It's a 4-0 game or it's a 3-1 game, and if it's a 3-1 game, then it certainly turns around in New Brunswick's favor, that's for sure.
Newfoundland will send out Scott Gibbons, Mike Yetman, and Dale Pike. New Brunswick, Jason Esterbrook, Nicholas Boucher, and Brendan Oreto. And from the face-off, Newfoundland getting it out to center ice. Gibbons shooting it in on the left side. He's chasing after it, trying to center it, hits the side of the goal. Boucher dumps it out to center. Reardon shooting it back in. Fleming gets it out to center, less than a minute to go in the period. Chris Reardon at the end boards. Pass nearly intercepted, but Gibbons will headman it to Pike. Trying to step around his man, but a nice check there at the blue line by Wade Clark. Reardon to Pike. Could hang on. Esterbrook on the left side, trying to center it. Steered to one side by Matchim. Rolls to his other side now, and he'll hug the post. Play is called. 27 ticks left in this first period. 3-0, Newfoundland leading New Brunswick.
Matchim's had a very solid period, and, you know, we, again, talking to the coaches before the game, he's planning on putting Brad Marche in for the next 2 periods. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with his game plan, because this young guy's played very, very well.
Jeff Martin will take this face-off for Newfoundland. He's got one of the 3 goals for Newfoundland in this period against Craig Miller. And Martin winning the face-off, trying to get it ahead to Hanlon, but New Brunswick comes back. Miller having a look along the boards. In front for Burns, but he didn't have a stick on the ice. And a shot down the ice by Brendan Parfrey. Icing with 9 seconds left. Maybe a little flick out to center ice would have been better there, Darrell.
Well, one thing St. John's doesn't want to do is now go into defensive shell because they have a 3-0 lead. They want to try to play aggressive and attack. And yes, with 9 seconds left in the period, it would have been better had he dumped it out rather than ice it, because they could get a scoring chance from a faceoff.
Once again, Jeff Martin, Craig Miller doing this faceoff. Going to utilize Burns' size in front of the net. Parfrey getting it out and down the ice. 4 seconds left in the period, and that is going to be it. 15 minutes in the books here at the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium in Grand Falls, Windsor. And the score, Newfoundland 3, New Brunswick 0. This is the Irving Challenge Cup.
3 goals by the St. John Capitals in the first period has them ahead of New Brunswick after 1 period here at the Brendan Byrne Memorial Arena. Joining me now, Brendan Parfrey of the Capitals. Congratulations on a good period. What's been the big change? You lost the first game in the tournament to this New Brunswick team.
Well, we given it our all out there and never given up, no matter what they do, and we're just outplaying them out there.
What's been the difference? Has that been it? A change in attitude, maybe a little more hop in the skating?
Well, we were up 2-1 in the first period last game, but we gave up in the second, so we just got to never give up and just keep going at them. Too many goals is never enough. Like, more goals, the better. Because they came back on us, they got 6 goals in a row on us before we got another one last game, so it's tough. We got to get as many goals as we can.
Certainly, it's been a great game so far. A lot of back and forth excitement. Are you enjoying the tournament here?
Oh, yeah. It's great tournaments, and sponsors are good, and it's a lot of fun.
What about the hometown advantage? Do you think it's there for the Capitals playing here in Windsor Grand Falls?
Oh, yeah, the Newfoundland crowd really gets behind us, gets us going. It's great. A lot of people back there cheering for us.
What has the coach said to you about playing this team a second time? You lost 6-3. You did score more goals than anybody else did against this team before the last round-robin game. What's been the difference here? What did the coach say you had to do to win this game here today?
Well, just keep going at them and at them and at them, because they always come back at us. They never stop playing. And he said, get a lot of goals and they'll start panicking, and that's what they're starting to do now. So if we keep coming at them, we'll probably pull it out at the end.
Taking the body seems to be a key as well, as there's been a lot of big, heavy checks in that first period.
Yeah, well, they're a fairly big team, and if we get the puck off them, if we hit the body, and that's what we've been doing. That's working for us.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. Brendan Parfrey of the St. John's Capitals. They have a 3-0 lead after 1 period here at the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. We'll be right back after this. Our coverage continues now with a man who has done a lot to ensure the success of the Atlantic Bantam Canadian Championship. So I'm speaking of Mr. Arthur Irving Jr., who is the provincial manager of Irving Oil here in Newfoundland. First off, thank you very much for joining us today, Mr. Irving, and I'd like to ask you how you are enjoying the hockey tournament so far.
Oh, it's been excellent. I've been here since Wednesday, and it's been some really, really good hockey, and the teams are doing a bang-up job putting on a good showcase for everybody. That's great. Yeah.
Any favorite out there for you?
Well, of course, I can't go wrong with St. John's being in the final and Fredericton also, so either way I win, but you're putting me on the spot, but I think I'll go for Fredericton, or sorry, St. John's.
I guess it's a close call.
Yeah.
Irving Oil has sponsored this championship for 3 years now, and I believe that your sponsorship is growing all the time. It's getting bigger and better every year.
Oh, yeah, our dealers are doing a bang-up job and sponsoring more and more teams on the local level. 20-some teams in the first year, and it's grown now to over 60, and our dealers are pushing to hit 75, 80 next year, so it's really growing.
And that feeling is reciprocated because a lot of people have mentioned Irving Oil's support, and of course last night at the awards banquet you've got some nice pictures, some art to hang wherever you want, so certainly you've got to be happy with the way Irving Oil's been received, all the support that people have given you for your support.
Oh yeah, the support really has gone out to all the Irving dealers, and it's great to see the communities reciprocate it and support our company, and we're more than happy to get involved with all the teams, and it's great.
Okay, well, Arthur, thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the hockey game. Right now, we're going to take a break, but the Irving Oil Challenge Cup continues right after this.
Back at the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena, 3-0 the score. Newfoundland leading New Brunswick. And we'll take a look at some of the highlights here, Darrell. And first of all, Pat Barrington had a big period for St. John's in that opening 15 minutes and getting that first goal.
Well, it was an important first goal because New Brunswick had a couple power plays. They had some good scoring chances, and they were thwarted on them. And here's the first goal. The puck comes out to him.
Barrington will be Johnny on the spot here, trailing on the play.
He comes in and he takes a nice wrist shot. I mean, that's if you're a kid back home and you're in that area, rather than take all the time to snap it, You're better off to take a wrist shot, and you just put it right in the corner.
And as we mentioned, Newfoundland's opportunities few and far between, but then they take advantage of it, especially here in this goal by number 68, Darren Croke.
Well, yeah, they had the 1-goal lead. They scored 2 quick goals within about a minute and a half here, but here it is. He's Johnny on the spot. He's just coming up from the side of the net. He's got a stick on the ice, and he just puts a wrist shot behind goalie Swanwick.
Good sound fundamentals, what you're just mentioning there with the stick on the ice. How often do we see at this level of hockey, the stick is up flying in the air and it doesn't do anybody any good?
That's right, but if you have it in the air, by the time you react and put it down, you might have missed a pass or you might have missed an opportunity for a shot. And yes, it is good to keep in. When you're practicing your drills in practice, learn to skate with your stick down around the ice because it'll pay off in the long run.
Taking a look at the third Newfoundland goal, and it came from the stick of Jeff Martin. Once again, the opportunities for Newfoundland.
Well, here he is in the slot. He takes his time. There's a nice snapshot. He didn't slap it. He took a snapshot right between Swanwick's legs, and their scoring chances have gone in. That's the difference in the game.
Let's go to the ice here at the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena. We see the novice age group out there right now involved in a skills session. And you see a lot of this in minor hockey now, Darryl, where in practices, it's not just shinny like how we used to grow up with, but good skills, learning processes of the fundamentals.
Well, it's important when you do have an hour of ice time today. Nowadays, it's so expensive that you utilize it to the best of your ability, and you set up different courses for the kids to practice different skill levels. Here, a young guy went under.
Now, what's going on here is the Chrysler CAHA initiation program, and you're not in any game competition. It takes away that win-lose situation where confidence for a young player of this age could easily be shattered in a pressure situation.
Well, it's important. If you're going to be good in the games, you got to develop the skills first, and that's what this is doing. Balance, crossing your feet over like this young guy, learning to shoot the puck, skating backwards. All those sorts of things are important if you're going to play the game effectively, and you've got to learn the basics before you can be effective in the game. And to me, this is important ice time for these kids to develop their skills. Just playing the games isn't enough.
Well, in fact, prior to the game this afternoon, you had the opportunity to meet some of these players.
Yeah, one of the little guys came up there. He had a Leaf uniform on. He wanted it signed. He had the 93 on the back, but he told me it wasn't because of Dougie Gilmore. It was because that was the year he got his sweater. So good reason to put 93 on the back.
Big crowd here this afternoon. In fact, we learned prior to the game, some people have been on the road 5 hours this morning to get to this game here in Grand Falls, Windsor.
Well, every parent from the Newfoundland team is here, according to the coach, and yeah, they've driven 5 hours. This is a minor hockey week in Canada for a lot of teams with tournaments wrapping up the end of the season, and they were watching some of their other kids play. They wrapped it up, and they drove here this morning, left at 6 o'clock to get here to see their boys play. And the fans here are certainly enjoying the skills display here. The kids are having fun. They're going underneath the sticks, backwards, frontwards, and the people are loving every minute of it.
One thing, Darryl, the host committee here, headed by Walt Davis, they've put on a first-class tournament all the way.
Well, anytime I've been to Newfoundland, the people have been very hospitable. We had a good time last night at the banquet, and then afterwards we had a little screeching in party for everybody, and it was a good time, but very hospitable. And let's not forget the volunteers. They put a lot of time and effort into organizing something like this. It just isn't this weekend. It's a lot of time and effort before. Next year, the Irving Oil Challenge Cup is going to be in Fredericton, and their committee is looking at how they did things this year so that they'll be able to do it effectively next year. So thanks to all the volunteers. Without them, it wouldn't happen.
Well, one thing about Newfoundland and Labrador, they love their hockey. There's the young fellow you met.
There's my buddy.
Yes, there he is, young Jonathan, yes. And we love our hockey here in Newfoundland and Labrador, no doubt about it, with the minor tournaments ending. But another big story here in this province that you've had an association with is the St. John's Maple Leafs as they get ready for the AHL playoffs. But in the 3 seasons that they've been here in Newfoundland, it's been a great success story.
Very much so. We're very pleased with our organization. It's a great city to have our youngsters develop in. The atmosphere there is great. The support of the city. Mark Crawford's done an excellent job in coaching, and you've seen a number of players come through our farm system, and they're in first place all the time, which is what we want to see.
That's right. Their playoff series opens Wednesday night against Cape Breton at Memorial Stadium. second period is about to begin here at the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena in Grand Falls, Windsor. There's your score. Newfoundland 3, New Brunswick nothing. This is the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. Well, there's the flag being waved, the Newfoundland flag, and bottom of your screen, the mascot, the salmon mascot for the Exploits Valley Salmon Festival. It's a big occasion, and for those watching in the Maritimes, if you ever get a chance to come to the Grand Falls, Windsor area during July month, it is an outstanding festival. There's no doubt about it. Big names in entertainment come here. Now it's time for our Chrysler Canada first period summary. Pat Barrington got things going for the St. John's Capitals at the 9:24 mark, with Marche and Hanlon picking up the assist. And then Darren Croke, a minute and 45 seconds later at 11:09, gave Newfoundland a 2-0 lead. Rounding out the scoring, Jeff Martin at 12:26, and as you see, Barrington with a goal and an assist. Justin Flood, a Cornerbrook native, with 2 assists. Shots on goal, New Brunswick out shooting Newfoundland by a margin of 14-5. Now to start off this second period, a goaltending change, Daryl.
Well, Brad Marche is in, and the coach did what he said he was going to do. He's going to give each goalie an opportunity to play, and Marche is coming in cold after a good period by Steve Matchim, but he's had a good goals against average, playing 3 games in this tournament with a goals against of 2.39. He's only given up 5 goals. He's a very colorful guy, and according to his coach, he can be very hot, or sometimes he can be cold. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, New Brunswick want to get that next goal to get back into it, and I'm sure they're going to try to test this guy.
That is imperative for New Brunswick to get back, trailing by 3. Have a bit of a problem with the gate there at the Newfoundland bench. And trying to figure it all out, what's going on, the problem there. Let's see, as the linesman trying to figure out, they're going to have to get a maintenance crew to try and correct that problem there at the Newfoundland bench.
Well, that's one thing that's important anytime you're on the ice surface, that the gates are closed. I know sometimes when you're watching kids practice, they'll leave a door open, and all you have to do is fall and hit the door when it's open. You can really injure yourself.
Well, we've got a break, and we're going to take a break ourselves. This is the Irving Challenge Cup. Just about ready to get the second period underway. 3-0 Newfoundland leading. As okay, let's see. There's no. Oh, it was a coat. It looks like the coach got his coat stuck in the door. Now a glass problem in the corner to the left of the Newfoundland goal. So a bit of wear and tear this tournament has had on this arena. It used to be known as Grand Falls Stadium, but renamed the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium.
I think everybody just wants their opportunity to get on TV.
Looking at the big crowd here for this game. As I said at the outset, just as big as when they used to pack them in for the old Grand Falls Cataracts. Prior to that, the Grand Falls Ancos.
Well, these older buildings have lots of character to them. You can sense the emotion in the buildings, and I know, Chris, you can go back to probably a lot of exciting games in this building.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's got a lot of history. Here we go. Second period is underway, and Jeff Martin for Newfoundland winning the faceoff back into his zone. Mike Comerford trying to get it to Ronnie Hanlon, but he's tied up. They scrum at the blue line. New Brunswick trying to get it free, but it's Newfoundland who comes up with possession. Hanlon looking for his winger, Parfrey, but it's broken up at center ice. Parfrey for Hanlon again. Pass intercepted. Burns breaking in. But Marche, the goaltender, steers it to one side. Penalty coming up to Newfoundland. Burns, he's hit. Keeps on going. New Brunswick with 6 attackers out there. Styles to Burns. Steered to one side. Miller back to the point. Thornton, the shot. They score! So with the 6 attackers, Ryan Thornton gets New Brunswick on the board at the 47-second mark, and we said it was imperative for New Brunswick to get on the board early, Darrell.
Well, Ryan Thornton had the puck at the point. He took lots of time to shoot it, and I think it might have been tipped by John Burns, who was standing in front of the net. We'll see it on the replay here, but he's in front of the net. The goaltender is down somewhat, and he just deflects it over his shoulder. Here it is, a nice hard shot. Let's see if he tipped it or not. No, he didn't. He just blew it right by him. But a big goal for New Brunswick to start this period. 47 seconds into the period, they're right back into this hockey game.
3-1, Newfoundland leading. Puck goes into the New Brunswick end. Darren Croke chasing after it, but Jason Esbrook is there. He skated off the puck. Not out, Flood with it. The shot that's wide of the mark. Estabrook being forechecked by Croke. Boucher getting it ahead to Fleming. Crossing the blue line on the right side. Fleming the shot. That hits a leg. Loose puck along the boards. Darren Croke gets it out to center ice. Wade Clark. Boucher. Oreto. Stopped at the blue line. Fleming. He's tied up. Croke got it to the New Brunswick blue line. Oreto dumping it in. Chasing after it, Justin Flood and Estabrook. Flood for Newfoundland being checked. He'll try the other side. Estabrook forechecking, but it's Barrington getting it out to center ice. Fleming will shoot it back in. Delayed offside. New Brunswick's got to clear the zone. Way on the right side. Cooper shooting it in. That's a sign for Newfoundland to change on the fly. Thornton around the boards for Milbury, but Estabrook gets the loose puck. Ahead to Boucher. At center, Nicholas Boucher, long shot, hits a stick. Chasing after it, Stapleton off the boards to Pike. Hit at center ice. Yetman couldn't pick up the pass, that's icing. Jim Cooper, the victim of that hit. 3-1, Newfoundland leading New Brunswick early in the second period. This is the Irving Oil Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor.
Here's a little replay on a close penalty call. I think he sticks his knee out a little bit, but the referee, there it is, his knee's way out there, and those are the types of hits where you can get hurt. Both the guy giving the check and the guy receiving it, but Joseph Anderson got away with a break there.
From the face-off, New Brunswick again pressing, trailing by 2. Milbury tries to center it, hits the side of the goal, bouncing around, and play is called. Referee Ray Saunders losing sight of the puck. He's at one end of the goal line, the puck on the other side of the net. That's why play is called. Face-off to the left of the Newfoundland goal.
Well, Brad Marche is in there. He's in a tough situation where his team's ahead 3-0. You come in cold, and the first shot went in on him, but he hugs his post. He's got to skate right against it, smothering the puck.
Again, New Brunswick pressing. Newfoundland had cleared the zone, but New Brunswick shot it in offside. We get a face-off outside the blue line of Newfoundland. We have played 2 minutes and 53 seconds of the second period. 3-1 the score for Newfoundland.
New Brunswick has come out this second period with a lot of jump. I'm sure they got a little blast from their coach in there saying, hey, we're down 3-0. We better pour it on here and try to get something going, and they certainly started the period that way.
Miller for New Brunswick stopped at the blue line. Yetman clears it to an open wing, and there's Pike looking for Gibbons, trying to swipe it into the New Brunswick zone, but it goes out of play, and we get a face-off outside the New Brunswick blue line. There's their coach, Harry Sterling.
Well, Harry was telling us before the game, their team sweaters that they wear during the season are the old Montreal Canadiens sweaters, with the Fredericton Canadians being there, and they're very proud of it. And to see St. John's with the Maple Leafs in St. John's, you got the kind of the Leafs-Canadian matchup here. Whoa.
Hit at center ice. That was Reardon on Miller. New Brunswick again pressing the play here in the second period. Here goes Miller, the shot. Just fired it wide. Pike coming back to his own zone. Put the puck on the Burns stick. Styles for Fredericton. Having a look, tied up by Pike. And it's Gibbons for Yetman. Out he comes on the left side, crossing center ice. Eases the puck into the New Brunswick zone. Gibbons skating after it. Hit by Burns. Now Burns with possession for New Brunswick. Forechecked by Yetman. Parfrey steered it beyond his goal. Newfoundland changing on the fly. Fleming off the glass, not out, kept in by Comerford. And Fleming will come away with it with Miller crossing the blue line. Looking for Miller, going in, the shot, and he fired it wide. Great opportunity there for Craig Miller. Stiles for New Brunswick. He is taken off the puck by Jeff Martin. Can't get it out. Fleming kept it in. Martin trying to get it out. He succeeds, but it's a two-line pass to Ronnie Hanlon, and play is called. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the second period, 3-1 Newfoundland.
Well, a nice opportunity. It was basically a 2-on-1. The pass was a little bit ahead of the New Brunswick player, but he had an opportunity to put it in. He just missed to hit the side of the net. Some good scoring chances. I think New Brunswick had all the scoring chances thus far this period.
Let's watch it again as
nice
Greg...
little soft pass there, and there he's skating right into it. Makes a little deke, misses the open corner.
Comerford for Newfoundland. He's being forechecked by Estabrook. Aretto trying to center it, I should say, but he's stopped. Boudouet trying to get it towards the slot area. Estabrook couldn't get a handle on it. Estabrook again, just couldn't keep it in the zone. Shot in by Thornton. Hit the linesman. And Newfoundland will clear the zone. Parfrey getting a pass. Doesn't notice his winger offside, and he's checked. Estabrook for Bourgeois, I should say, in the New Brunswick. That should be in the Newfoundland end. Estabrook, he's checked. Aretto looking for his winger. Bourgeois trying to center it, and Newfoundland will clear the zone. Brian Thornton chasing after it. Newfoundland changing on the fly. And up 3-1 to Jason Estabrook. He's forechecked by Barrington. But he gets a return pass. And ahead to Aretto. Now New Brunswick changing on the fly. Aretto keeping it in the zone on this line change. Centers it, nobody there because of that change. And Barrington banks it off the boards and down the ice. That is icing against Newfoundland.
Well, one thing Newfoundland's doing, they're getting rid of the puck like a hot potato sometimes rather than hanging on and making the right player skating with it. The other thing that's important is Newfoundland's got to get the puck in deep. That's what they were doing earlier in the first period when they get to the blue line to dump it in and go chase it and get some hits. They've coughed it up a couple times right at the offensive blue line, and what happens, New Brunswick turns around and comes back with a shift.
From the face-off, goes towards the slot area off the skate of Tracey. Kept in by Fleming. Milbury chasing after it for New Brunswick. Milbury back to the point. Shot goes all the way to Marche, and he'll glove it and hang on. Newfoundland leading 3-1. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
To build a winner, you got to have hard-working guys you can depend on. A good, solid enforcer. Great move. Tough in the corners. And not afraid to go to the net. The only thing better than one good enforcer is two good enforcers.
Now at your Ford and Mercury dealers, get full-size Enforcer, only $13,294. Or choose new Ranger Compact Enforcer, now only $10,847. Plus this Prestige jacket.
Enforcer's tough enough for me and Blue. And Blue is one tough pup. Whisky, too.
There's the most valuable player trophy with the Jopa gloves, the Jopa helmet, and the Bauer 4000 skates that goes to the winner. And Darryl, wouldn't you have those skates when you were playing minor hockey?
I used to get hand-me-downs all the time. I'd love to have them, but yes, that's one thing that's been very impressive with the Irving Oil Challenge Cup, the trophy presentations plus the prizes and the sponsorships that have been given and what the kids can win. Very impressive.
Newfoundland bringing it out of the zone. Cooper looking for Croke. Broken up by Fleming at center ice. Shot in. Milbury chasing after it. Trying to pick up his winger Flanagan along the boards. Now Newfoundland's Jonathan Tracey to Croke. Kicked in by Fleming, or kept in by Fleming as well. Shot out to center ice. Wade Clark getting it across the blue line. Flood getting it out. Barrington to Croke. Looking for his man. Chasing after it is Jim Cooper. In deep In front of Barrington. And he fanned on his opportunity. And away comes Milbury. 3-on-2. Milbury dropping into Flanagan. The shot. Pad save. The rebound. And it's hung on by Marche, and play is called.
Well, St. John's had 3 men caught, and it was a 4-on-2 coming up by New Brunswick. They had a good opportunity, but couldn't find the handle to put it in, and Brad Marche made a nice save.
Let's watch it again on the replay. Good breakout by New Brunswick.
Puck dropped into the slot. He just throws a wrist shot at the net. He couldn't get his handle on the rebound there, and Brad Marche smothered the puck.
Calvin Murphy doing a good thing there, Darrell. Without the puck, he went to the net.
That's right, and that's what you want to do.
From the faceoff, Thornton keeping it in for New Brunswick as they try and press here this second period. The shot knocked with a high stick. They score, and they're going to count it.
Well, that was a very
what an argument here by Newfoundland. They are going to count it on the high stick. It's 3-2.
Well, that puck was definitely above his shoulder. He knocked it down, and then he picked up the puck himself and put it in, so it wasn't deflected right in off the high stick.
Well, the goal is going to be scored by Mark Stiles. Let's watch it again. Watch the high stick. It's way over the shoulder. Knocked down. The goalie was reaching way up for it. And in the net, 3-2 at 7:08.
One unfortunate situation, but the referee has to make the call how he sees it. It's not easy. He doesn't get the opportunity to put a replay.
Right.
And a big goal for New Brunswick to get them right back in here at 3-2. And they've had the most of the play this whole second period.
Well, New Brunswick's going to press again. Pike at center ice. Tied up by Miller. Pushed into the Newfoundland zone. Reardon around the boards for Yetman on the left side. He's hit by Miller. They scrum along the boards and play is called. So Newfoundland with 3 goals in the first period. New Brunswick has come back with a brace here in the second, and it's a 1-goal game.
Well, New Brunswick seem to be very, very hungry this period, and they're going right at Newfoundland, and consequently they're getting the better scoring chances. They're right back into it here.
Scott Gibbons for Newfoundland against Jason Esterbrook for New Brunswick. Esterbrook winning it back. Fleming the shot off the skate of Marche into the corner. Yetman on the left side. Trying to get it ahead to Pike. Crossing the blue line. Goes in deep. Trying to center it. He's tied up. Not out. Kept in by Anderson. The shot. That's wide of the mark. Esterbrook can't clear the zone. Gibbons keeping it in. Pike for Yetman. First bit of pressure here for Newfoundland in the New Brunswick zone in a long time. Anderson, he's checked. Out comes Boucher on the left side. But he's stopped by Comerford. Esterbrook in deep. He's stopped by Pike. Esterbrook battling for that puck once again. And Pike checking him. Anderson can't clear the zone. Gibbons with it. He'll shoot it around the board. Fleming hits the stick, hits the rafters, and goes out of play. 3-2. Newfoundland leading New Brunswick here in the second period. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. 14. The Player of the Game award winners of this championship game receives a Wittenauer watch. Compliments of the Wittenauer Watch Company, a fine Swiss watch. There's your buddy Jonathan again.
There he is. He's sucking on a sucker and just enjoying himself.
Face off outside the Newfoundland blue line. Jeff Martin for Newfoundland got it back to his defense, and now New Brunswick are going to cross here. Martin coming up with it. He stood up at the blue line by Thornton. Chasing after it. Ryan Thornton bumping his man. Hanlon trying to center it. But it comes to Joseph Anderson for New Brunswick. Crossing center ice, dumping it in on the left side. Trying to pick it up is Brent Soller. He's stopped. Anderson looking for Flanagan in front. Soller goes to the end boards. Not out of the zone. Thornton, a shot. Gloved by Marche. He'll hang on. And play is called. They're in the 10-minute mark of the second period. 3-2, Newfoundland leading.
Well, a number of the scoring opportunities for Fredericton have come from the point areas, and I think Newfoundland's got to pay a little more attention. Their forwards are getting a little deep, opening up the points, and the shots are coming from there, and consequently 2 goals were scored because of it. One on the tip-in, and the other was right from the point shot also.
A big trio for New Brunswick out there. Miller, Stiles, and Burns. Miller. Now Stiles trying to get that puck. Hanlon looking for Martin. Gets it out. Intercepted at center ice by Fleming. Once again, Newfoundland checking, but here comes New Brunswick. Burns trying to get it to Martin in the slot area. Broken up by Jeff Martin. Over to Hanlon on the left side for Martin. He won't get a shot, really? No, he's taken out by Whitlock. Parfrey centering it. It stick and goes to Burns. For Stiles on the right side to Burns across the blue line with Miller trailing, but it's broken up. Hanlon ahead for Cooper on the right side. He's chasing after it, trying to center it, but Barrington's tied up. Barrington in the corner, left side. Newfoundland changing on the fly here. They've completed their line change. Fleming off the boards and down the ice. Does it have enough momentum for icing? No, says the linesman. And Reardon has to play to Barrington. Crossing his blue line, gets around his man for Croke, steers it to the slot area, but he's taken out of the play, and Whitlock for Estabrook. He's checked. Wardway, he's checked. Play is called. It's scrambly, and I think it was a glove-to-head pass. Player goes on his duff there, John Burns. Well, the tension in the air now. Newfoundland with a 3-0 lead. Fans at the edge of their seat. It's now a 1-goal game, Darrell.
Well, that's right. There's 4 minutes and 31 seconds left in this period, and basically it's been all New Brunswick in the second period. They seem to be playing with a lot of confidence and taking over this hockey game. Newfoundland obviously would like to get some more scoring chances because they haven't had any in the second period.
From the draw, goes to the New Brunswick blue line, cleared to an open wing. Estabrook backhanding the puck into the Newfoundland zone. Barrington backhands it along the boards for Reardon and out. Thornton couldn't glove it down. Chasing after it is Johnson. Off the boards and out the center ice. Backhanded by Stapleton. Thornton looking for Oretto across the blue line. Estabrook couldn't get a stick on it. Puck bounces around. Croke gets it up. Johnson, his pass hits a leg, goes to an open wing. Stapleton trying to shoot it in, and he is hurt. Colin Stapleton at the St. John's bench. He was trying to shoot it in.
I don't know whether he got his stick into him. Sometimes when you go into the boards like that, your stick jams into your stomach or your chest, or he got a high stick underneath the chin. But check the replay there. Both guys going for it's a good hard
hit.
Got him a little bit with shoulder and elbow, I guess, and he's being attended to there, and hopefully he'll be okay.
A lot of these guys are getting their first taste, I would say, Darrell, of contact, where in the younger age groups there's no contact at all in this pressure tournament situation. There's been some pretty good hits here in this tournament.
Well, the kids, again, because of the intensity of the tournament, the importance of the game, they try to throw their weight around as much as they can. It's an intense game for them, and all in all, I think it's been fairly a clean hockey game. That was a pretty good body check, and that's part of the game. If you're going to go on at whatever level, junior hockey or pro hockey or midget hockey, body checking's all a part of it.
3:49 left in the second period. 3-2, Newfoundland leading New Brunswick. Newfoundland led 3-0 after one period of play. New Brunswick have scored 2 here in this second period as the St. John ambulance attending to Colin Stapleton, the defenseman for the St. John's Capitals, as he's still there by the bench. A bit of discussion going on there with the trio of St. John's Capitals players.
One thing while we have a moment, maybe we should talk about Irving Oil and their sponsorship here in the Atlantic provinces. I think they sponsor 66 teams in Bantam hockey, and it goes right down to the grassroots level. The service station attendant, the owner, sponsors a team in the local area, and It's very, very important. I know as a youngster growing up in Canada, minor hockey was a part of our family's lifestyle, our social life. Even now when I'm finished playing pro hockey, it's a part of my life with my kids, and it's important to have those sponsorships, and Irving's done a wonderful job.
Yes, indeed, Darrell. I know of one team who traveled well over 1,000 miles to try and get to this tournament in Grand Falls, Windsor, and their regional playdowns and their provincial playdowns. They didn't do it, but you talk about that commitment. It's not only from the Irving Oil family, but indeed the teams as well, showing the commitment and what it takes to get here.
Well, there's the youngster who was hurt. He's back on the bench. Apparently he got the wind knocked out of him, and he should be back out there shortly.
From the face-off, Brunswick trying to get it into the zone, but Croke shoots it down the ice. No icing, says the linesman. Thornton for New Brunswick. Around to Flanagan. Trying to get it ahead to Joey Anderson on the left side. Crossing the blue line with Milbury. The shot off a stick and out of play. He had Milbury with him there. Maybe a pass could have put Milbury in the clear, but
he
Joey Anderson elected to shoot. Yeah.
Wind up. He took the big wind up, maybe a little too much time, and the defenseman had the opportunity to get a stick up, but he's going for the slap shot. Watch how high he lifts his stick, way above his head, giving the defenseman time to, might have been better off to take a wrist shot or a little pass there. One thing about minor hockey, it teaches the kids a lot about teammanship, working together. You go through some adversity sometimes in your life, losing and winning, and it's all part of it. You know?
New Brunswick pressing here from the face-off as John Anderson for Newfoundland around the boards to Yetman. Looking for Pike at center ice, broken up by Clark. Comerford stopping behind his goal for Yetman on the left side. And out to center. Fleming shooting it right back in. Burns has got to clear the zone. That'll give Anderson for Newfoundland an opportunity to have a look. Styles forward checking, passes over to Pike, can't get it out. The shot by Clark off the end boards. Yetman for Gibbons. On the left side for Pike at center. Broken up. Yetman with it. Once again, he stopped. Comerford ahead to Gibbons. Got it to center. Fleming over to Clark. Off the boards and into the Newfoundland zone. Gibbons being pressed. Got it out to center. Miller shooting it right back in. And that is a sign for New Brunswick to change on the fly. Gibbons for Pike. Oh, Gibbons will pick up his own pass, crossing the blue line. In on Clark, in deep. Not out. Anderson kicks it to the corner. Comes back to him. Keeps it in the zone. Looking for Yetman at the end board. Now in the corner for Pike. Trying to center it. Broken up. And away comes Areto. To Boudria. To Areto, I should say, to Boucher. And Areto is stopped nicely by Comerford. Gibbons around the board. Fleming keeping it in. Miller, the shot. Off a stick. He gets to the bench to complete the change, and Pike will shoot it down the ice as Newfoundland is looking for a change. No icing, says the linesman. And play continues. Jason Esterbrook for Fredericton. His pass for Boucher too far. Goes down the ice. That's icing against New Brunswick. 1:31 left in the second period. It's Newfoundland 3, New Brunswick 2. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention, please?
Face off to the right of the New Brunswick goal. Jeff Martin against Jason Esterbrook. Comes back to the point. The shot, that hits a leg. Thornton for New Brunswick being pressed. Comes back to Flood. Stepped into it. No, couldn't get a good opportunity. He was tied up. And New Brunswick will get it to Esterbrook at center ice. He's tied up. Parfrey trying to headman it. Broken up by Thornton. Shot back into the New Brunswick zone. Johnson looking for Esterbrook. Got it to the Newfoundland blue line. Flood looking for Martin. He's tied up. Less than a minute to go in the period. Here comes Flanagan. Trying to center it. Goes to Marche. Leaves it for his defenseman. Off the boards. And Marche had to come up big there. Goes all the way down the ice to Swanek. I think that's the first time he may have touched the puck this period. Esterbrook off the boards. Ahead to Thornton, looking for Burns, but it's stopped. Once again, Stapleton trying to get it to Hanlon. but he was closely checked. Puck goes into the Newfoundland zone. Reardon banned on his attempt to clear. 20 seconds to go. He's being watched by Burns. Off the boards. Fleming keeping it in, but it comes out. Cooper trying to chase after it. He skated off the puck. Puck bounces in the slot area. Barrington trying to get a handle on it. Fleming, well, it's offside. Fleming got it out, and Reardon brought it in with 1 second left.
Well, New Brunswick got to be very pleased with their period. Obviously, Newfoundland's got to be a little concerned. They really didn't have any scoring chances. They're going to go into the third period, 1 goal up, but they got to pull out all the stops and play a little more aggressive and try to get in the other team's end for the third period.
Well, the second period is in the books, and it's a 1-goal game as the St. John's Capitals, representing Newfoundland, scoring 3 in the first period, and the Fredericton Canadians, representing New Brunswick, scoring 2 in the second period. And the score after 30 minutes of play, 3-2, Newfoundland leading. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
We've got ourselves a barn burner here at the Joe Byrne Memorial. The Fredericton Canadians respond with a 2-goal second period. The challenge, I guess, was to get back in this hockey game in the second period. And joining me now is Craig Miller. Craig, how big was that first goal inside the first minute?
Oh, that goal was a big one for us. We knew we had to get next goal. We'd be in some big trouble.
Now, you know you could come back on this team, but you also knew it would be hard in front of the hometown fans here. What did your coach tell you between periods?
Oh, he just told us to go out there and give it our all. We were down to these guys in the round robin, 2-0 first period, and we came back from that, and we played pretty good.
And the shots in that period, 11-1 for the Canadians. Obviously, you guys are taking the play away.
Oh, yeah, they changed goalies, and we want to get some shots on them early, test them out.
Okay, now that assist in the second period gave you a tournament-leading 10 points. And you also hurt your left leg in the last round-robin game against PEI. Tell us about that. Obviously, well, it doesn't seem to be slowing you down out there.
No, I was going around defenseman. He got his knee out and caught me there in the thigh, and I'm getting some therapy done on it right now.
How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great.
You'll be ready for the third period?
Yep.
Well, best of the luck the rest of the way, and we've got a wonderful game here. Thank you very much, Craig. Craig Miller, captain of the Fredericton Canadians, and our coverage of the Irving Oil Challenge Cup returns after this. And welcome back to the Irving Oil Challenge. That's the score after 2 periods today. And right now we're going to talk to George Fardy, who is the president of the Newfoundland Amateur Hockey Association and on the board of directors at the CAHA. Welcome, George, and what do you think of the championship? It's been a great tournament from our perspective.
Certainly has. I think the players have enjoyed it immensely. There's been tremendous fan attendance, and we're totally pleased with everything that we've seen so far.
And the quality of play?
Absolutely terrific, yes. The kids have really given 110%, and this is what we expected, and they came through for us.
And, of course, having a Newfoundland team in the final is good for the home side.
Well, it's icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. We very proud that they're there, and I'm sure that the team that wins it will be the deserving team.
Okay, overall, we've heard so much about hockey being an expensive sport, but from your point of view, is it still an accessible sport? And it seems like a lot of people are getting involved and pumping it up, and we're still producing some great talent as evidence today.
Oh, I certainly think so. When you consider the length of time it's on in the year, we're active almost 10 months of the year, and when you take the overall cost and break it down, I think it comes out favorable with any other sports. If you have a summer sport that's only on for 6 or 8 weeks, the cost may be lower for the individual, but when you take the hockey sport, spread it out over the 8 or 10 months that it's on, and I think it's justifiable.
And you still see the numbers in Newfoundland playing hockey. Is it growing?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, our numbers are increasing virtually every year. They've been pretty consistent, not large increases, but definite increases each year over the last 3 or 4 years.
And we're seeing evidence of that on the NHL level. John Slaney, playing with the Washington Capitals, of course, scored a big goal for Team Canada, the junior team. Yes. And Dwayne Norris played in the Olympics and had a big goal for Team Canada over in Lillehammer.
That's right, and we have others coming, and they'll be there.
Okay, well, very good. Thank you very much, George. One more quick question I wanted to ask you about. The CAHA is merging with Hockey Canada. At this time, do you know what it's going to mean for the minor hockey players I mean, of course, the top level will take care of itself, but what about the everyday players? I mean, will they be ignored in this new structure? What guarantees are being assured there?
No, I don't think so. I think that being under the one umbrella, there's going to be a continuity. And of course, it has to start at the minor level. And there'll be a continuity right through, and I think this is going to give the kids a great opportunity to rise to the top.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, George. Enjoy the rest of the game, and I think that you leave the Challenge Cup with a serious challenge for Fredericton, which is hosting it next year. A job well done. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And the Irving Oil Challenge will continue right after this. Welcome back to our coverage of the Canadian Atlantic Bantam Championships. Last night was awards night here in Grand Falls, Windsor, and here's a snapshot of what happened.
Representing Newfoundland, the St. John's Capitals.
The players were welcomed by a capacity crowd of over 350 people at the new Grand Falls Windsor Legion. New friends met as a group for the last time. The tournament's best performers picked up their hardware, and all players were rewarded with some sound advice by two men who are winners in that bigger game of life.
Graduates, and that one of the last people to see the graduates, and that would be my dad and his brother. And what meant a lot to my dad was if you were involved in sports in university. So I said, Dad, why do you always ask that? I said, you're really interested in what the guy did at university, what sports. And he goes, if he was on a sports team, this guy knows the difference between winning and losing, and we want winners and we want aggressive people. So he just had to tell me you played hockey and you were in like Flynn. It was just...
The other thing that's important is education. I was fortunate again to go on and play 15 years in the National Hockey League. I played with many players in the junior ranks and in the professional ranks that didn't get an education, but their hockey careers, through injury or through their lack of talent or through their lack of interest, their careers didn't go on. And you asked every one of them, if they had to do it over again, what they would do. The number one answer is they would have stayed in school a little longer, they would have worked a little harder at their schoolwork and tried to get their marks up. And you can do both. Again, it's an attitude thing, it's a commitment, and being focused and spending your time wisely.
Each award winner was presented with a pair of Bauer hockey skates, Jofa gloves, and a helmet from Jofa. Captain Craig Miller of Team New Brunswick was a Challenge Cup's top scorer with 5 goals and 4 assists, good for 9 points in just 4 games. Teammate Sean Swanek allowed only 4 goals in 3 games and winning top goaltender honors. That's a goals against of 1.33. Best defenseman, Brad Rice of the host Exploits Valley Beothics. While the best forward at the tournament was Mike McKay of the bronze medal champion Team Nova Scotia from Pictou County. And lastly, but certainly not least, the most sportsmanlike hockey player at the Irving Oil Challenge Cup was Jeff Martin of Team Newfoundland. He from St. John's also led his team in scoring with 3 goals during the round robin. And that was about all that was to decide except for why we're here right now, which is who will take home the major prize, the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. And we'll get back to that right after this.
.708. Big stat there, Darrell. Shots on goal. New Brunswick out shooting Newfoundland by a margin of 11-1.
They certainly did, and they had all the territorial play. St. John, I don't even remember the one shot. It wasn't very hard if it was, so they've got to come back and play a little aggressive like they did in their first period. Dump the puck in deep and try to get on New Brunswick and create some scoring chances.
3-2, Newfoundland leading. Third period just about to get underway. And from the face-off, Miller winning it for New Brunswick. Back to Johnson off the boards and out to center ice. Flood trying to shoot it in, goes off a stick. And a souvenir for the crowd here at the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena in Grand Falls, Windsor. Darrell, New Brunswick got off to that good start in that second period, and the key for them, keep the momentum going.
Well, they came out very aggressively, and they threw the puck in deep. They created a lot of scoring chances, and they were having to capitalize on a couple of them. They got a break on that high shot that fell right in front of the goaltender, and they put it away, but they certainly took control of the play in that second period.
Stiles to Burns, looking for Miller. Along the boards, it's broken up. Barrington had to take it off a stick by Stiles. Burns for Johnson. For Miller, over to Burns. dumping it in on the right side. Chasing after it, Jonathan Tracey. Barrington getting it out to center ice. Johnson. For Miller, who tips it in. Stiles chasing after it. Tracey off the boards and out. Thornton. 2, Newfoundland leading. Third period just about to get underway. And from the face-off, Miller winning it for New Brunswick. Back to Johnson. Off the boards and out to center ice. Flood trying to shoot it in. Goes off a stick. And a souvenir for the crowd here at the Joe Byrne Memorial Arena in Grand Falls, Windsor. Darrell, New Brunswick got off to that good start in that second period. And the key for them, keep the momentum going.
Well, they came out very aggressively, and they threw the puck in deep. They created a lot of scoring chances, and they were having to capitalize on a couple of them. They got a break on that high shot that fell right in front of the goaltender, and they put it away, but they certainly took control of the play in that second period.
Stiles to Burns, looking for Miller. Along the boards, it's broken up. Barrington had it taken off a stick by Stiles. Burns for Johnson. For Miller, over to Burns. Dumping it in on the right side. Chasing after it, Jonathan Tracey. Barrington getting it out to center ice. Johnson. For Miller, who tips it in. Stiles chasing after it. Tracey off the boards and out. Thornton over to Johnson, looking for Burns. He's upended at the blue line. And Jim Cooper comes away for Newfoundland. On the left side, crossing the blue line. Stood up by Thornton. Puck goes to the corner. Cooper tied up by Thornton. Burns for Stiles. Ahead to Miller. He's all alone. 1-on-4. Trying to get around Reardon, but he's taken out of the play. And Darren Croke, one of the 3 goals for Newfoundland, has possession. To Cooper. Trying to get it out to center ice. It's a stick. Croke at center. Got it to the blue line. Newfoundland trying to change on the fly. So is New Brunswick. Esterbrook. Shot right on. Saved by Brad Marche. Esterbrook trying to center it. Pike for Yetman. Taking off a stick. Boucher is stopped. Yetman trying to get around Fleming. Broken up, and Johnson has the puck. To Oretto. Shoots it in on the left side around the boards. Nearing the 2-minute mark, third period, 3-2 Newfoundland. Reardon will shoot it all the way down the ice, and that is icing against Newfoundland. It's a 1-goal hockey game, 3-2, and for New Brunswick, they got a press for Newfoundland. They played kitty bar the door hockey a bit too much in that second period, Darrell.
Well, you don't want to be playing in your own end, that's for sure, because you're going to get scoring chances against you. Again, they're maybe not looking for the pass. They're just trying to get rid of it, ice the puck, or get rid of it before they're actually should, and they got to play a little more poised if they want to.
Pike is stopped at center ice by Wade Clark. Milbury dumping it into the Newfoundland zone. Stapleton trying to get it out. Behind the goal. Centered. Anderson. Milbury. They couldn't get a stick on it. Milbury looking for his winger, but Reardon will shoot it out. Fleming to Clark. Pass is intercepted by Pike. Now chasing after it is Soller. And they'll circle the shot. Save. Rebound. Milbury. Save. Rebound. Gibbons clears the puck out to center ice. Wade Clark for New Brunswick. Can't get it out. Pike kept it in. Steered towards the slot area by Hanlon. Martin will bring it in. It's offside, and play is gone. 2 minutes and 52 seconds gone by in this third period. 3-2. Newfoundland leading New Brunswick.
One thing in talking to both coaches again before the game, they were mentioning that a lot of their players on their teams play other sports. They're into rugby, into soccer. And it's important in the offseason to do those conditioning things for your coordination, your stamina. One of the kids is a rower in Newfoundland.
That's right. Young Barrington, he's rowed in the St. John's Regatta in each and every August at Kitty Bitty Lake. Newfoundland dumping the puck in. New Brunswick getting it out to center ice. Burns chasing after it. However, Parfrey will shoot it out. Once again, Johnson dumps it into the Newfoundland zone. Comerford sidesteps one man, but he lost possession. The shot marks the save, and play is called. Let's take a break. Newfoundland leading New Brunswick 3-2 in the third period. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. That's what it's all about, Darrell.
Well, there's the hardware. It's a beautiful trophy, the Irving Oil Challenge Cup. And in 1992, Fredericton won it of New Brunswick, and last year, 93, Moncton. So they've won both Irving Oil Bantam Championships, and that's what Fredericton and St. John's are trying to get today.
Face off to the left of the Newfoundland goal. Comerford can't get it out. Centered by Miller. Steered to one side by Parfrey. Out comes Hanlon. At center ice on the left side across the blue line. Going in on Thornton. Trying to set up Cooper, but it's broken up by New Brunswick. Anderson for Newfoundland. Shooting it in. Forechecking is Parfrey. Looking for his man behind the goal. Centered by Hanlon, but there was nobody there, and away comes Miller. Craig Miller at center ice. Long shot off the inboard, hits the back of the goal. Puck behind the net. Comerford. Team forecheck by Style. Back to the point. Johnson. The shot. That's wide. Newfoundland trying to clear the zone. Hanlon can't. Anderson. Now Hanlon will on the third effort. Here comes Johnson. Couldn't get a shot away or a pass stopped by Comerford. Miller. Around for Burns. Comerford broke it up. Thornton's shot hits a stick. Puck bouncing around, and it's cleared by Jim Cooper. Now Barrington will chase after it. But Thornton beat him in the first foot race to Johnson off the boards. Not out, hits a skate. Barrington tried to steer to the slot area, but Miller comes back behind the goal. Ryan Thornton, his pass broken up by Croke. He'll let a shot go. Glove by the goaltender, Sean Swanwick, and play is called. That is the first test for Swanwick since the first period.
Yes, he hasn't had much action. As you know, they've only had 6 shots after 2 periods of play, and they scored 3 on those 6 shots. But here's a nice shot by Croke. He takes his time, he looks, he slap shots, and he makes an excellent glove save, Swanwick. That's the first scoring chance Newfoundland really have had since the first period of play.
Jim Cooper against Jason Estabrook for this face-off. They're going to be waved out, and it'll be Barrington for Newfoundland and Oretto for New Brunswick. And from the draw, New Brunswick with possession as Michael Fleming will back it off the boards to Estabrook. Pass is tipped into the Newfoundland zone, out to center ice. Whitlock backhands it in. Chasing after it, Jonathan Tracey. Forecheck passing. Cleared by Barrington. He's got one of the 3 Newfoundland goals. And he hit his man, Oretto. Estabrook steers it to the slot area. Not out. Whitlock keeping it in. New Brunswick trying to center it. Cooper tied up along the boards. 2 New Brunswick players digging for it. And play is called. We have played 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Check that. Yes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds of this third period. 3-2, Newfoundland leading, and it's sweaty palm time. And Jim Cooper, one of the main players there for Newfoundland, that's impressed you, Darrell.
Well, he's the lead scorer on their team, and he scored an overtime goal early. And there's a good hard check there.
Pat Barrington.
Got him with a shoulder check and knocked him down.
Back to the action. Gibbons for Newfoundland around the boards to Yetman, being watched by Flanagan. Now Reardon can't get it out. Puck in the slot area, cleared, but not out of the zone. Yetman does succeed in his task, looking rink wide for Pike on the right side, looking for Gibbons in the slot area. However, Fleming will try and bank it off the glass. Can't get it out. Stapleton into the slot area. It's bouncing around. Shot, rebound, and it's steered to one side. And out comes Milbury for New Brunswick. Shooting it in. Soller trying to get it to Milbury. Reardon intercepts, flicked it to the crowd, and play is called. Newfoundland 3, New Brunswick 2. In the third period, this is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. Sean Swanwick, outstanding here between the pipes for New Brunswick, Darrell.
Well, here's Newfoundland has a nice chance in front. Swanwick's right in front of the net, and he makes 2 good saves there. He's got the net covered low and smothers the puck.
One thing to mention, we have a task at the end of the game, the play of the game.
The McDonald's play of the game goes to the person who makes the big play to change the game around. It could be a winning goal, it could be a great save, and he'll win a Wittenauer watch. we'll have to watch through this next 8 minutes and 30 seconds to pick that player of the game.
Newfoundland trying to clear the zone. Shot breaks a stick. Puck loose in front. Saved there by Marche. And Burns was all alone. Kept in by Thornton. For Burns. Looking for Miller. Trying to get it to Burns. Comes back to the point. Thornton trying to bank it off the boards, but Cooper got it out. Hanlon chasing after it. Johnson is there looking for his winger, but it's intercepted. Cooper trying to bring it across the blue line. He stood up. Parfrey did get it across. Comes out. Goes to Hanlon. Going one-on-one. He stopped. Cooper trailing on the play for Hanlon in front. Again, a great play by Thornton. Hanlon behind the net. Trying to come around. Wrap around. And that's stopped. Comes back to the point. Anderson trying to keep it in the zone. But Burns will get it out. Looking for his winger Styles. Broke it up at center ice. Anderson getting it into the New Brunswick zone. Cleared out by Johnson. Newfoundland changing on the fly. Cooper trying to sidestep Estabrook. But Estabrook picks his pocket. Broken up at center ice by Barrington. Shooting it in. Thornton chasing after it. Being pursued by Cooper. Along the boards for Aretto. Tied up. Barrington looking for his point man. Flood intercepted. Puck comes out. Flood backhands it in. Newfoundland has to clear the zone. Thornton looking for Boucher. To Estabrook. Tied up in the skates. He's stopped by Croke. Puck along the boards. Barrington gets the loose puck. Gets around Thornton. Keeps on going. Back to Croke. That should be Croke. In front of Barrington. Back to the point. The shot. That's slow. It's in front. Saved by the goaltender, Swanek. And a shot down the ice by New Brunswick. A hit, a broken stick. And there's no ice. Kept in the zone. Aretto for Estabrook. He's behind the goal. On the left side. Along the boards. Tied up by Flood and Barrington. Play is called. We'll get a face-off. 6:30 left in the third period. 3-2. Newfoundland leading New Brunswick. This is the Irving Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
My daughter thinks I'm a bit wild. She's a little on the conservative side. But when she talked to me about my arthritis pain, I listened. She says a lot of the pain can be caused by inflammation. So I should be taking something specially made for the pain and inflammation. Entrophin. Well, Entrophin really does help me move more freely. The doctor was right.
Entrophin for the pain of inflammation, so you can move more freely.
Again, Darrell, the New Brunswick goaltender, Swanek, coming up big.
Well, there's a nice low shot from the defenseman. I think it's tipped, and Swanek just gets his toe on it right there to cover the puck, and the rebound. The defenseman did a good job of tying up the Newfoundland forward so they couldn't get a shot on the rebound, but a good scoring chance by Newfoundland.
Gibbons for Newfoundland winning the face-off and getting the puck into the New Brunswick zone. Plumbing off the boards and out to center ice. Back into the New Brunswick zone. Clark for Anderson. Looking for his winger. But it's broken up. Flanagan tried to get into the Newfoundland end. Now Wade Clark brings it across. Left side, offside. Play is called. There go a shot, and Colin Stapleton stopped it.
Well, Newfoundland has played a lot better this period. They look more like they did in the first period, where they're being a little more aggressive. They're taking the body. They're not sitting back in their own end zone, and they're trying to create some scoring chances. And they've got 6 minutes left in this third period. 1-goal lead. Hopefully they'll, for their sake, they can hang on. I know New Brunswick going into this game was the favorite, and they certainly played well, but some good goaltending by Newfoundland has kept them off the score sheet for the first period, and they got 2 in the second.
Andrew Johnson shooting it in for New Brunswick to Mark Stiles. Looking for Miller. Hanging on in the corner. Back to Johnson at the point. The shot, the save, the rebound. It's loose in front. They score! New Brunswick has tied it up. Stiles. And it's 3-3.
Well, we talked about it earlier a couple times where the New Brunswick pointmen seem to be open quite a bit, and the shots seem to stem from that area. As the puck goes back to the defenseman, he just gets it on the net, which you're supposed to do. The rebound comes out, the second rebound, and there he is to put it into the empty net.
Mark Stiles scoring at 9:14. Let's watch it again from another angle. The goal that can only stop so many of them, Darrell.
That's right. You know, he did his work by stopping the first two. You're supposed to, as a defenseman, stand there and try to clear the puck away or clear the front of the net, and he didn't get any help on that play.
3-3 tie here in the third period. Got into the New Brunswick zone. Thornton chasing after it. Behind his goal, being forechecked. Puck in the corner. Stiles knocking his man off. Thornton picking it up. Looking for Burns. Hit him in the chest. Hanlon couldn't get the loose puck for Newfoundland. Stiles brought it across. Comerford got it out. Shot in. New Brunswick's got to clear the zone on the delayed offside. Anderson for Newfoundland. To Parfrey. Can't get it out. Burns with it. Sidesteps a man. It's loose in front. Newfoundland comes up with it. Parfrey for Hanlon on the left side. Crossing the blue line. Looking for Cooper. Broke it up. Check that. Looking for Martin, I should say. And it's Johnson for New Brunswick. Tipped over to the open wing by Stiles. Comerford shooting it in. Johnson. Crossing center, Newfoundland changing on the fly. Johnson taking advantage of the situation. He's in deep. Behind the goal. Trying to wrap around, it looked like, but he was checked. Darren Croke kicking the puck loose. Comerford trying to get it out. Kept in the zone by Boucher. Play is called as we are going to get a penalty here.
We had a little bit of a roughing match over on the far side. I think Newfoundland's going into the box.
Darren Croke is going to get the gate.
There he is on top of him. I don't know if he gave him a little punch or what it was, but he definitely was called by the referee in a crucial time of the game with 4 minutes and 34 seconds left. We got a...
Well, it's not a power play. Johnson's going to get the gate too, I see.
Well, they both got it, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
And at 10:26, 3-3 tie in the third period. Minor hockey, Quince Miners, both teams play at full strength. Puck at center ice. Esterbrook for Oreto. Trying to get it to Boucher. Broken up. Kept in by Fleming. Looking for Boucher. Yetman can't clear the zone. Fleming. And it goes all the way to Marche. And play is called. 4:14 in regulation time. Face off to the left of the Newfoundland goal.
Well, if we should go into overtime, we've got a 2-minute break between the third period and the start of overtime, and then the 10-minute period, and it certainly will be exciting.
No doubt about it. Gibbons for Newfoundland against Anderson of New Brunswick for this face-off. Milbury shooting it around. Flood getting it out. Clark shoots it in. Stop behind the goal. Tracey to Yetman for Gibbons. Can't get it out. Jonathan Tracey once again to Yetman. Can't get it out. Yetman succeeds on the third attempt, but Fleming will dump it right back in. Tracey flicking it out to center. Fleming shooting it right back in. Chasing after it, Calvin Milbury. Bumped by Tracey. Gibbons around the boys, tries the other wing now for Pike. Clark keeps it in, hits a leg in the slot area. Tracey ahead to Yetman. Looking for Gibbons, caught up in his skates. As Milbury is stood up. Flood got it to center. Here comes Fleming. Going in. Stops. But he lost possession. Yetman can't clear it. New Brunswick pressing. Just over 3 minutes to go in this third period. 3-3 tie. Wade Clark, the shot. Stopped by Marche. Play is called. Darrell, I noticed one thing about the New Brunswick defense in the latter stages of this third period. They're starting to pinch in on the play.
They're holding the blue line, and consequently Newfoundland's coughing the puck up and not getting it out over the blue line. And that's an important play when you're along the boards within 15 feet. You've got to make sure you get that puck out, whether it's over top of the guy or in the slot area out the middle or whatever, but you got to make sure you get it out. Either that or you freeze it on the board for a whistle.
2:59 to go in this third period. And for New Brunswick, they send out their big guns. Miller, Burns, and Stiles.
Well, Miller's the leading scorer in this tournament with 10 points, and he's certainly very creative and can set up or score the goals.
Burns trying to get it to Miller. but Reardon was there for Newfoundland to get it off the boards and out. Puck in front of the Newfoundland bench. They scrum and get a face-off, and that has whittled down the clock to 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in this third period. Just want to mention, Darryl, the bronze medal game took place earlier this morning here at the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium, and Nova Scotia coming up the winner.
Yeah, they did, and they scored a goal late in the game to win the bronze medal, and that was also an important game for Nova Scotia. Actually, what happened, Newfoundland had to tie Nova Scotia to get into the final game yesterday, and they scored within the last few minutes to do it. So a lot of close games in this championship.
Shot down the ice by New Brunswick. No icing. As Colin Stapleton gets it to Reardon for Hanlon. To Martin. Can't get it out. Kept in. Now Reardon will get it to Martin to Reardon at center ice, crossing the blue line. Offside is Hanlon, and play is called. 2:08 to go, third period, 3-3 tie. This is the Irving Oil Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
Clothes you wear say a lot about you. Sometimes they say you just want to relax. Other times they say take a walk.
Only Sears brings you Jessie. Casual clothes that say you can look great and feel comfortable.
Sometimes your clothes say, let's get away for the weekend.
And with the fashion solution, Sears guarantees you'll always find the look and quality you want without paying a fortune.
And sometimes your clothes just say, you picked a great place to shop.
Expect more from Sears.
Jeff Martin for Newfoundland. Jason Esterbrook for New Brunswick for this face-off. Stapleton getting it to the blue line. Clark trying to find his winger. They scrum in front of the New Brunswick bench, and the referee quickly blows his whistle. That's one thing I've noticed here this afternoon about referee Ray Saunders and the job he's doing with the scrums. Quick whistle right away so nobody would get hurt.
He's very much in control of the game, and that's what you like to see. And the players can feel that when you're on the ice. When he's in control, he blows a whistle quick, he's assertive, and on to the next play.
Jim Cooper now for Newfoundland against Jason Esterbrook. And Esterbrook gets it back to Clark, over to Johnson for Esterbrook through the middle across the blue line. Shot gloved by Marche. He'll hang on. Play is called. It's nail-biting time. 1:53 to go. 3-3 tie, Darryl.
Even though Brad Marche has let 3 goals in, I think he's looked pretty good here. He's got a good glove hand, and the goals that he's let in really weren't his fault. The one was a tip-in. The other one, the last one was he made 2 saves, and it was in the open net. So he's played very good, even though he's allowed 3 goals. Got a lot of shots on him.
Michael Fleming poised for a shot from the right point, and it comes back to him. The shot, it's deflected, goes to one side. Chasing after it, Oretto, looking for Esterbrook behind the goal. Trying to get it to Soller. Comes out in front, the shot, that's blocked. Soller for Oretto. Tied up, Soller again. Back to the point, but it's intercepted. And out comes Jim Cooper. Trying to find, well, the puck goes out of play. We'll get a face-off. He was trying to find his winger, and we're down to 1 minute and 27 seconds to go in this third period.
Well, both of these teams have been in tight matches all year. I think for each one of them to get here, they had to win in overtime, and so it's not like they've been walking away with their own leagues. They had to fight and scratch to get here, and here they are with 1.5 minutes to go in a tie game for the championship of Atlantic Canada. Pretty exciting.
Fleming will backhand it into the Newfoundland zone. Comerford being forechecked by Stiles behind the net. Miller battling Croke along the boards for possession. Cooper to Barrington and out. Fleming holding on, waiting for his line mates to get outside before shooting it in. Anderson for Newfoundland to Barrington, backhand. Less than a minute to go in regulation time. Puck in the New Brunswick zone. Fleming trying to come out in front, the shot, and it's a save there by the goaltender, Swadek. 48 seconds left in this third period, 3-3 tie. Let's take a break. This is the Irving Oil Challenge Cup from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. What?
Rustle up the family and head down to KFC. Bowling, bowling, bowling. Get that family bowling. Because right now, when you buy a family meal, you'll get 4 free bowling passes. or one pass with an individual meal. And every pass comes with an instant win prize of up to $1,000. Bowling, bowling, bowling.
Set him up, knock him down, get it on, roll him out.
So come on in for some great chicken and 3 passes to spare.
It's free.
Gibbons for Newfoundland. Miller for New Brunswick for the face-off deep in the New Brunswick zone. And this 3-3 tie. From the draw. The shot! The save! He hangs on. As Swanwick coming up big again. And it brings it down to 44 seconds to go in this third period.
Well, very nifty play from the face-off as a centerman. He just dropped the puck. Gibbons had it behind him. He let his winger come in, who's coming off his off wing, and he takes a wrist shot. He shot it about halfway up the net. Again, when you're in that area, if you can keep it down low or right in the top corner, you got a better shot at scoring. But a nice play from the face-off there.
Reardon poised behind Gibbons for a shot if he can win the draw. To Pike, tied up by 2 players. Puck is loose. Stapleton will shoot it in. Newfoundland's got to get back onside. Johnson for Miller. 30 seconds to go. Long shot. Marche will save. Reardon off the glass. Not out. Plumbing. Keeping it in. Reardon can't get it out. Miller. He's tied up by Yetman. Stapleton with it. Out comes Newfoundland on the right side. Stapleton in deep. Tried to center it. Broken up by Plumbing off the board. Miller stood up. But he got it to Burns. Looking for Stiles. Broken up by Yetman and out to center. 4 seconds to go. Oh, what a hit at center ice. And that is it. We are into overtime.
Some great excitement.
Yes.
Last minute of play, some good scoring chances. The referee's letting the players decide the game. He's not going to decide it with him.